So, welcome, listeners, once again to another episode of the Tech Your Business podcast, where we simplify and amplify technology for business owners. Today on the show, we have another guest. We've been chatting for a few minutes now, and our conversation shows that he really practices what he preaches, which is having an emotional connection in your marketing. Our guest today is Randy Crane, and he's also known as the Fearless Marketer. Randy Crane is a marketing specialist with over 40 years of experience in marketing. So that means he's going to have a lot to share with us today. So welcome to the show, Randy Crane.
Peter, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to meet you, and it's even more of a pleasure to be on this show with you.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about talking today. This is going to be great.
Thank you. Thank you. So tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, let's see. I was born in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I was, I grew up like everybody else. I mean, it was just a medium class family, medium income family, nothing special. And it was interesting because I kind of grew up in the church, and my plan when I was young was to become a priest. And I think I mentioned this to you before. I was about 6 weeks away from taking vows, and I decided that this wasn't for me. And of course, there's a whole story that goes along with that. But just to make a long story short, I figured that there's a bigger story there. So I spent the next 40 years studying humanism and its relationship to God. And it was interesting because my education led me into marketing. And as a result, over the years, my religious training and my religious understanding meshed with my marketing, and I started finding out a whole bunch of new things that I realized that most people don't know. And that is that it's the emotions that drive our business decisions. That's all. It's not about logic. It's not about it. It's about emotions. And I even said to you in the beginning, Peter, imagine marrying a woman you don't like. Doesn't make sense, does it? Right. So that's a little bit about me. I was also the VP of a major brewery in Canada. I was also a vice president of marketing for another convention company. I left there when I was about early 30s to become a gun for hire. So companies would reach out to me, and I would help them with their marketing, and that's how it was. And I did that up until a few years ago, and then I fired all my clients.
Wow. That's a really, really interesting story. That's a really interesting story.
Thank you.
Yeah, really interesting. So we've been we talked a bit about this, and you mentioned it just now about how you discovered from your research that there's this emotional connection that makes people buy. And for the past few months, we're in July now, probably past 7 or 8 months, there's been a trend everywhere of AI, of ChatGPT, of AI doing everything. You have people writing emails, writing sales letters, writing everything using AI. So
yeah,
it has gained a lot of traction. But what have you observed about this AI as it relates to marketing in general?
Okay, so as I mentioned to you, I just finished doing a video on AI as it relates to marketing, and that can be found on my YouTube channel. The problem with AI is that humans require an emotional connection. Okay. Again, this comes back to what we were talking about before. You go out on a date with a girl, or you go out on a date with a guy, and you know what, the chemistry just isn't there. You don't want to go back out with that person again. Everything, human beings are emotional creatures. Okay, we respond to emotions. So, when I was young, my father used to say to me, you know what, Randy, you need to start learning to make logical decisions. And, if he were here now, I would say to him, listen, Dad, you know what? Humans aren't capable of logic. Humans are capable of emotion. And then the logic comes later. And I'm just going to give a quick little story about that, if you don't mind, Peter.
Yeah.
When I was about 18 years old, I had this super duper stereo system. The big stereos?
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, this was just a great stereo system, but it had really bad speakers. So I went down to the audio store, and I saw these big giant speakers, and they were liquid cooled speakers. They were just super duper speakers. I kept thinking, oh my God, I don't have enough money for those speakers today, but my God, one of these days I'm going to own them. So months went by, and I managed to save enough money to buy those speakers. So I got my money together, and I went down to the stereo store, handed over the money. They gave me the speakers, put them in my car, took them back home, took them out of the box, plugged them in to the stereo. Boom. Okay, what a sound. It was fantastic. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm so proud of myself. I got those speakers. Anyways, I went over to sit at the kitchen table, and guess what was on the kitchen table? The receipt. So I picked up the receipt, and I looked at the receipt, and I'm now all of a sudden the wheels are turning. Oh my God, what did I just do? I spent my rent money on speakers. I don't even have enough gas in my car to get me to work tomorrow. Oh my God, I got a girlfriend. She wants me to go out on a date. Oh my God. And you'll never guess what magically happened. Those speakers magically went back into the box, magically found their way into the backseat of my car, and drove itself all the way to the stereo store so I could get my money back. The emotion came first. The logic came second.
Second.
Okay. What does this mean as far as AI is concerned? Well, let me tell you. Human beings connect with other human beings. Human beings don't connect with machines. Machines don't connect up with humans. Okay. Humans connect with other humans. So if that's the case, ChatGPT, whether it's 3, 4, 5, or 10, is still at very best a machine. And if you know that marketing is all about emotion, ChatGPT can't really write about emotion. It can write what it thinks might be emotion, but it doesn't have the experience. So at the very, very best you're going to get would be a story about what a machine thinks emotion is. But I can promise you that if you read something from ChatGPT on loving your wife, and I wrote something about loving your wife, well, I probably wouldn't write it about loving your wife, but more about writing my wife. But the point is, the two would be entirely different. And this is what I'm saying. If you're in business, or you're an entrepreneur, or you're a person who wants to be a salesperson or a marketer, a business owner, whatever it is you want to do, you have to be authentic. Human beings have the innate capability of knowing when something is inauthentic, not original. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody can do this. And everybody's done it. You turn around, somebody tells you a lie. You say, oh, that's not true. I already know that's not, because you know it because how it makes you feel. So when we talk about using ChatGPT to write your websites and your emails and your letterhead and your proposals and your blah 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 blah, you're not only doing yourself a disservice, but you're also doing the disservice to your audience. And don't get me wrong, I do use ChatGPT, but I use it for basic things. I use it if I might have a writer's block, and I'll say, give me an opening paragraph on this, or write me a summary about this topic, or give me some headings for this topic. So you know what, I'll use it for stuff like that. But I want my customers, I want my audience to see who I am. I want them to see me. I don't want them to see a replication of who I am.
Yeah.
Okay. And the one beautiful thing in God's world is that every human being is unique. Okay. Every human being is unique. And it's that uniqueness in myself, as I'm sure it's the uniqueness in you, that you want to come through to your customers. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I think it's a good thing? I think, what, it'll probably get better over time. Do I think it's ready to be the answer to the marketing problems of the world? Absolutely not. And I don't know that it ever will be. But that's just my opinion.
That's really interesting, because at the end of the day, see a lot of people really pushing for AI, a lot of people really acting like it can do everything and it's able to do everything.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So when we talk about this AI, when you look at it, a lot of businesses who adopt this AI, they do it because they want to save on costs.
Sure.
Yeah, or they want to, mostly a lot of times they want to save on costs. They don't want to pay writers, or they don't want to pay marketers or anything. And while we know it's not the best, so what would you recommend for business owners who want to save on costs? What tactics would you recommend to them to invest in?
Yeah. I have a conversation with a customer the other day, and she runs a restaurant. And we were talking about her coffee. And she said, I can go with a different brand of coffee, and I can save 5 cents a cup. And I said, is it better coffee than what you have? She said, no, it's not as good as, but that's okay, because you're going to save 5 cents a cup. She said, yeah. And I said to her, I said, what does it cost? No, actually, what I said to her was, are you telling me the cost of a customer is 5 cents? And she said, no, it's not what I'm saying. I said, well, what are you saying? Are you saying to me that you can replace a customer for under 5 cents? She said, no, I can't do that either. I said, well, then you need to consider what you're doing here. Because yes, you can save 5 cents. But if it costs you a customer, what is the cost of that customer? That might cost you $500 to get that customer, another customer back.
True.
So saving the nickel, is that worth losing a customer that's going to cost you $500? Well, I don't know that I asked and look at it that way. And I said, well, you don't have to look at it anyway. Matter of fact, instead of saving 5 cents, why don't you buy sewer water and save 50 cents? And she said, well, no, that's not right. And I said, well, of course it's not right. But you see, the thing is, then you'll have no customers. And she said, well, yeah, I don't want that. And I said, well, you need to think carefully about what you do. Yes, you're going to save 5 cents per cup. And maybe if you're selling 50 cups a day, wow, you're going to save a whole $2.50. Congratulations. But at what cost? Is it the cost of one customer? Okay, because that one customer is going to cost you a lot more than $2.50. Now, let's take this back a step and let's talk about a business who has decided to use ChatGPT to write all of their communication. The problem with that is that, yes, it can do that. Absolutely, it can do that. And as a machine, it can do that. Matter of fact, it can probably do it way faster than I could. Okay, but there's a caveat to that. At what cost? Is it worth losing one customer? Is it worth losing 10 customers? Because it's not about gaining customers anymore. You made that clear by deciding to cut cost. Okay, you increase cost to get more customers. You decrease cost to lose customers. Okay, and whether you'd like to think that that's how it works, it is how it works. When you decrease the value proposition, you lose customers. When you increase your value proposition, you get more customers.
True.
So if you're decreasing your value proposition by utilizing machine-based language and not using authentic, heartfelt emotion in your communication, then you're doing your company a disservice, and you're doing your customers a disservice. People buy because they're emotionally connected with you. Okay, they're emotionally connected to their problems, and you seem to be the guy who can solve the problem, so that makes them emotionally connected to you. Where in that equation is it that they're emotionally connected to your machine? Now, Peter, I don't know you real well, but I would assume you don't have a relationship with your dishwasher. I'm sure you don't have a relationship with your television set. And I'm sure you don't have a relationship. Well, I have a relationship with my computer, but that's a little weird. Don't worry about it. But what I'm saying to you is we don't have relationships with machines. And neither do your customers. So why would you want to present that in that way? To me, I look at it and I think, well, you know what? I can write a nice heartfelt email that says, hey, Peter, you know what? It was really great meeting you today, man. You're a really nice guy. And hey, you know, I'd like to get together with you and maybe have a conversation about how we can work together. Okay? You're going to like that, as opposed to a machine kicking out, dear Mr. Peter, this is what we do, blah, 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 because that's what a machine does. Now, you can add in your own little emotions and your own little emojis, but it's still going to be written by a machine. Now, maybe that's good enough for you. And if it is, go right ahead and do it. But as a marketer that's been in the business for 43 years, I can tell you firsthand, people want genuine. People want authenticity, and people want uniqueness and originality. So unless your customers are something different than I've seen, I would say I'm probably correct. So would I recommend it? I think it's fine to use as a tool, but it shouldn't be everything that you're about. You're not a machine.
Yeah, very well put. Very well put.
Thank
So I
you.
think that brings us to the next question, because we've talked a lot about having this emotional appeal or emotional reaction, which leads people to buy. So,
Mhm.
so a lot of us, like for me especially, a lot of us relate better visually. So, can you give us an example of a company whose marketing stands out by evoking that strong emotional appeal or reaction? And
Oh,
what tactics are they using?
absolutely. Absolutely. Nike.
Hmm.
Nike is a masterclass of emotion marketing. There is nothing unauthentic about Nike. And don't get me wrong, I don't wear Nike as a rule. Um, but I love their marketing because it's very genuine. They spend a lot of money on making sure their message is heard. And people can say what they like about Nike. They're a shoe company. They make shoes. Okay. But is that what their marketing is about? No. Their marketing is about people. Their marketing is all about people.
Hmm.
Say you did a marketing campaign a few years ago with Colin Kaepernick, the football player.
Yeah.
And can't remember what it was called. But regardless, it was all about his stand on social protest. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Nike got a huge amount of consumer backlash. And Nike stayed with the program.
Hmm.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. They they touch on tender subjects. They promote athletes that have overcome huge things in their life to become successful. You know, Colin Kaepernick, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. I mean, all of these people. People think, oh well, they're just promoting Michael Jordan. No, that's not what it's about. Okay, Nike is all about their customer. And when you put on a pair of Nikes, and I have owned Nikes, they fit good. They feel good. There's nothing wrong with the product, but you see, what they support is what it's about. So, do you think people buy Nikes because they're comfortable shoes? I guess some people do. Okay. Or do you think they buy because of their connection to the world? It's because of their connection to the world. It's because that they stand behind important issues. It's because they promote people that are in line with their mission.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, they're a company that should be respected for their marketing. And again, like I said, I am anything but a promoter of Nike. But you asked the question, I give you the answer. To
Yeah.
me, Nike is a masterclass of quality and emotional marketing. But
Hmm.
then on the other hand, too, they're socially responsible marketers. Okay. And in a world that's made up of irresponsible marketing, and like I said, I don't want to point fingers, and I certainly don't want to go down this rabbit hole, but um, political advertising, pharmaceutical advertising, food product advertising. Okay, most of it is very irresponsible. Okay, I mean, we all know that no matter where, and I can say this because I know you're in Africa, but the um, politics all over the world. Everybody knows they're liars.
True.
Okay. Am I supposed to say that? Probably not. But anyway, um, but the pharmaceutical companies are buying up all the food companies. Why? Because they make the most money from making preservatives.
Exactly.
It's not like you and I don't already know this. We already know it. The important part that I'm saying to you is that it's that irresponsible marketing that puts everybody off. And because there's so much of it, when it comes out that you have somebody like a Nike who does responsible marketing, you look at them on the same eyes that you would look at the irresponsible, because there's so much of it. So I recommend that people be responsible in the marketing they do. Find a cause. Take a page out of Nike's book. Another great one too is Filter Queen Vacuum Company. Okay. Petronia is another great company, all of which are very, very responsible. Take a page out of their book. You don't have to spend billions of dollars. Just do a little bit and see what it does for your brand. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about your brand and who you are. Remember, and I've been saying this for years, your brand isn't what you say it is. Your brand is what other people say it is.
It is. Interesting. So Nike. And that's really true, because all my gym shoes are actually Nike. I don't buy anything else. I actually don't buy anything else. So I'm not sure, like like you say, I'm emotional, so I'm not even sure why I buy Nike.
You know, it's so great because, you know, back in the 80s, we used to have a book, and it was called the TV Guide. Okay, you probably never heard of it, but it was a little paper book, and it was right at the cash register when you go at when you're in the store. So it always had a picture of, you know, some superstar on the front cover, but it would give you all the listings of all the TV shows all the way through the week. So we didn't have online back then, so you have to open up the book and look for Wednesday and see what was on at 9 o'clock, that kind of thing. And but it was always at the checkout counter in the store. Why? Why was it there? Why wouldn't it be on the magazine rack or some other place in the store? Because it was considered an impulse buy, an emotional buy. So just when you're putting your groceries through the checkout counter, you look over, you go, oh my God, the TV Guide. Oh, grab that, put it in your box, put it in the, ring that through too. It was an emotional buy. We've always been doing emotional buys. Always. It's just that other people tried to make it into something that it's not. And it's never be buy. I mean, think about it. You buy it and it'll show you the TV shows for the week. And then next week you go back to the grocery store and you buy another one. And you do that 52 times a year. And that way you know it's on TV. Okay. Does it make sense? Not really. But what it does do, though, is it proves that people become emotionally connected to what they do. People can become emotionally connected to who they are and emotionally connected to the problems they have. Every single person. No exceptions.
Interesting. So I was looking at your video you shared not long ago, and there you said that AI can aid but not replace human marketers.
That's right.
So yeah, so when you say that, where do you see the biggest limitations of AI when it comes to marketing tasks requiring creativity and empathy and things like that?
The biggest impasse is going to be this. Human beings connect with other humans, whether it's in the written word, whether it's in the TV shows they watch, what have you. And let me ask you a question. Do you ever watch comedy shows? Okay. And you know, have you ever heard of Dave Chappelle?
Yeah, I've heard of Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. You ever seen him?
Yes.
Yeah, funny guy, right? Okay. So imagine for a second that you got Dave Chappelle and he's making you laugh, right? Okay. Now let's take a a robotic Dave Chappelle, and let's put him on stage, and the robotic Dave Chappelle is going to tell you jokes similar to, but not exactly like Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to laugh?
It's going to be difficult.
Yes, the point that I'm making to this is that it's the antics that Dave Chappelle goes through. It's his body language. It's his chemistry. It's his connection with the audience. It's um, it's his style.
Mm.
It's his personality. All of those things you don't find in a machine. You don't find a personality. You don't find any of those things. So is it funny? Might be funny to think it's weird, but is it going to have the same impact as Dave Chappelle? Well, the answer is no, because it's not. It's funny in the fact that it's ridiculous.
Mm.
You know, that's like turning around and saying, well, you know what? I can love a robot just as much as I could love my girlfriend. Can you?
No,
I don't think so.
no.
So if that's the case, humans need to connect with other humans. It's a natural impulse. Okay. I don't have a connection with things that are not living. And I don't assume that other people do as well. I mean, maybe they do, but I mean, certainly in my experience, it's not that way. So do I think there's a future for this? I think there's a future for what it is. I think as an assistant, I think it could probably be manipulated into something like that. Do I think it's going to take your job? No. Do I think it's going to take my job? No, not anytime in the near future. I mean, to be honest with you, ChatGPT's been out for a few years now, a couple of years. As a marketer, my business has increased because of it.
Mm.
Because people want authenticity, and you can't get that from a machine.
Sure.
You can get a replication, but it's not going to be the same thing. Does that help?
Yeah, a lot. It does a lot. So for businesses now, since everybody's using AI, everybody's using automation, what are some key emotion-driven marketing tactics some businesses can adopt to stand out from everyone else?
Be authentic.
Hmm.
Be your best self. And do not write a word until you feel good about how you write. And I think we talked about this, what you think causes what you feel, and what you feel causes more of what you think. And what you think and what you feel creates reality. Okay.
Yeah.
If you sit down to write and you feel sad, you're going to write sad. Okay. If you sit down and you feel angry, you're going to write angry. If you sit down to write and you feel happy, you're going to write happy. Now, human beings require two things, and they have two things in common, Peter. One, every human being wants to be happy. Can we agree?
Agreed.
There's a caveat to that. There are some people that are happy in their own misery. Can we agree?
Yeah.
Two, every human being on the planet is emotionally connected to their own problems. Every single human being. So, be a problem solver. Solve people's problems. If you have a product, have a look at your product. What problem does your product or service solve? Write about that. What problem does your product or service solve? How many problems does it solve? And normally, you know, for me, what I do is when somebody introduces me to a new product, I'll turn around and say, okay, first thing I want to know is what kind of problems this has. So on the left side, I turn around and I make a list. These are all the problems that I could see all the way down the list. Okay. I think, if I had that problem, how would that make me feel? And then I take that feeling and I put it over here on the sidebar. Then on the opposite side, I'm going to look and I'm going to take that problem and then I'm going to take the solution to that problem and put it over here. Okay, so now I got the problem, now I got the solution. And then I'm going to figure out, if I had that solution to that problem, how would that make me feel? And I write that down. And I do that for the whole list. Okay, now I know that after I go through, and let's say I make 10 problems, 10 solutions, emotions for all of that, I know that, have I attacked every problem? Probably not. But I would say that the majority of the problems are identified on that list. Somebody in your audience is going to identify with one of those problems. So instead of making your marketing about, look at me, okay, we've been in business for 20 years. We have the best product, the best price, the best people, the best delivery. We have the best warranty, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about any of that stuff. And there's nothing in that list that's going to emotionally inspire somebody to buy from you. So what would emotionally inspire somebody to buy from you? Well, if I've got a problem and you got the solution, and the emotion makes me feel, the problem makes me feel bad, but the solution makes me feel good, I got a sale. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah, like I said, it's something that takes some practice. Become emotionally connected to who and what you do. People love, this is the reason we read a good book. This is the reason we go to the movies. We want to feel something. You ever gone to the movies, Peter, and they'll say, you come out of the movie and you think, oh my God, the best part of that movie was the trailer. Right?
Yeah.
You know, or you read the book and you go, oh my God, what a, you know, the preface in the book was the best part. But then other times you go to the movies and you come out and it's a love story. You come out and you're crying. Or you go to a horror movie and you're terrified. That's what it is. Every human being wants to feel something. That's the reason we go to the movies. That's the reason we read a good book. It's for that reason. We want to feel. So yeah, I think that, you know, connect with your audience. Connect with them on an emotional level. Connect with your customers on an emotional level. When you do that, they'll love you for it.
So essentially just make your audience feel something.
Make them feel how they want to feel. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel bad? Do you, Peter?
No.
You don't want to feel bad.
No.
You want to feel happy.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so does everybody else. So why would you sit down to write if you're angry? Why would you sit down to write happiness when you're angry? You wouldn't. Get yourself into the right frame of mind. Okay?
Yeah.
Like I said, for your audience, you know, reach out to me. I'm happy to, if you want to pick up the phone and give me a call, or you want to get on a Zoom call with me. I'm more than happy to help with whatever you need.
That's all right. So we'll just link your details in the show notes once we
Please.
publish. Yeah. So we've talked about this emotional appeal a lot. So can you share an example of a brand or maybe a marketing campaign that failed this time because it lacked emotional appeal?
Oh, yeah. I have a lot of those. Okay. And I just want everybody to understand this too. I've been in the business for 43 years, and I became good at what I do because of the mistakes I made. Okay. People think, well, you know what? You don't get this far by not making mistakes. I've made my share over the years. Matter of fact, I could write an entire book on the amount of mistakes that I've made in life. The biggest problem with clients is that they already have a preconceived idea of what their business is all about, and it's usually wrong. And I say this to people all the time. I've been in business for 30 years, and I can tell you the reason I got into business is different than the reason I stay in business. I got into business probably like yourself, Peter. Want to make more money, want to have more fame, whatever the case is. Today, I'm in business to help people. Okay, I don't care whether you buy from me. I don't care if you become a client or not. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's to help people. Okay. Now, when a customer has a preconceived idea of what their business is, and it usually starts with money, and money is the worst place to start. Okay. Because there'll always be somebody who sells stuff for more than you, and always places where people sell something less than you. So you definitely don't want to get into that. So I usually tell my clients to start with the value that you deliver. What is the value you deliver? Why would anyone want to buy from you? And then again, make a list. On the left-hand side, these are all the values that I have. And then how does that make you feel? And then on the opposite side, I say, these are all the values that people want. And then how does that make you feel? And then I start putting that all together. And that gives you your base for content. Because now it's real content. It's real authentic content. Okay. And this is what I'm saying too, is about websites. For 40 years, we've been doing websites. Most of the websites on the market are all about me, all about you. Okay. Being in business for 20 years, best people, the best product, the best price, the best delivery. That's what it's all about. The people don't care about that. So if people don't care about that, what do they care about? Well, they care about themselves. Be a problem solver. Solve people's problems and you'll make money. I've made a career out of making friends. I got friends all over the world. And you know what? It's some of them I hear from every week. Some of them I hear from every month. Some of them I hear from every 5 years. But the point that I'm making to this is I have a guy in the UK. I haven't heard from him in 15 years. He turned around, he called me up and he said, Randy, are you still in business? I said, yeah. He says, I got a client for you. And he sent me the client. Now, I haven't talked to him in 15 years, but he knew me. And I've made a point out of making friends with everybody. See, I'm even friends with you now.
Definitely.
Right? So that's my point, is that always lead with value. Lead with value. Okay? Lead with emotion. Because when you lead with value and you lead with emotion, those are the two big connectors for people. Look, Russell Brunson is a master at this. You know Russell Brunson?
Yeah, ClickFunnels.
Yeah, that's right. He'll do a thing, he'll say, buy my special offer. And I'm going to give you this, 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 and this. And if you buy it right now, I'm going to give you this, this, that. His value is so compelling, you just can't say no. Like, and I'll tell you why. I have 6 .com secret books here. I got 6 of them. I bought it 6 times because all the value stuff is the stuff I wanted. So what I'm saying to you is, it's the value proposition that you give. Make your offer so compelling that people can't say no. Make your emotion so strong. They go, oh my God, I love this guy.
Hmm. Hmm. Nice. You also talked about trust in marketing in your video.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So how can a business owner build trust and credibility through their content?
Absolutely. Trust is based on 2 factors: honesty, integrity. And I would say emotion-based integrity. Okay? Don't be a liar. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a swindler. Okay? Lead with value. You see, when you lead with value, like when somebody, a new client comes on board with me, I tell them right up front, this is how this is going to go. I'm going to do this and this and this, and that's going to mean this. And I'm going to do this, 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 and that's going to mean this. And I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and that's going to mean that. And he's going to say, well, what is that, that, and that? I said, well, you're going to have more sales. You're going to have more customers. You're going to have more repeat customers. And I'm going to have that done by the end of September. Well, that's my value proposition. Now they turn around, they go, oh my God, yeah, I want that. Let me ask you something. Do you want more customers? Yeah, I do. Do you want more repeat customers? Yeah, I do. Do you want more customers, repeat customers that are going to bring other customers? Yeah, I do. Well, great. Let's do it together. Do it together. Now, instead of I'm not your employee, what I am is I'm working with you.
Yeah.
And that makes people feel good. Make people feel good. Deliver a value proposition that is so compelling they just can't say no. You want to build trust? Very simple. Build a value proposition and deliver. When you do that, when you do what you say and you deliver what you promise, all of a sudden, bang, you have instant trust. Trust on tap. One of the biggest problems with people is that with my business, we have a code. Okay. And I have 15 core values that I live by. Okay. And I hope you've been to my website, but if you haven't,
Yeah.
okay. I have on my story page, and I actually am bringing up a new website next week. But you're going to find that we have 15 core values. The first one is don't make excuses, make it happen. Number 2, learn something new every day and apply it. Number 3, we are here to serve selflessly with the highest integrity. Number 4, treat everyone that you interact with like your own family. Okay? Show up with positivity and high energy and laughter. Tell the truth all the time. And then from there, and we have a list of them of different ones, but the biggest one for me is number 14, which is do what you say
And
and
deliver
deliver what you
what you
promise.
promise.
And that produces trust.
Hmm.
That produces trust. And remember something, just have fun. I mean, marketing is the most fun you're going to have in business. So you better enjoy it.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. So apart from AI, we've talked a lot about AI. Apart from AI, what other technological shifts should businesses prepare for when they are crafting their marketing plans?
I think it's important to have a plan in place.
Okay,
If you don't have a plan, a marketing plan in place, call me and I'll help you put one together.
definitely.
Um, the big thing is if you don't know where you're going, then you're just kind of driving your car all over the place. You have to have a destination. Okay. So whatever that destination may look like, I need to have so many customers. I need to make so much money. I need to have so much one thing or another, whatever that happens to look like. You need to have a destination. And if you don't have a plan, you need to get one. Marketing does not work well when you are, hey, I'm going to do a post on social media, and then you don't do it again for 6 months.
Hmm,
You need to have a plan.
hmm. Interesting. Okay, so we talked about technology. We are talking about technology on the show. So the technology used in managing your business, your clients, and everything. We talked about CRMs at the beginning. So
Mhm.
yes. So can you tell us a bit about the technology used in managing your clients, your processes, your
Oh, yeah.
communication?
Um, I think the greatest technology that ever came out was the CRM. I introduced that to all my clients, and I get them all on the program. Um, you know, Back in the 80s, I mean, we had Outlook and we had Google Mail and things like that that kind of did it really poorly. But today, I use a CRM to manage all my clients. I manage my finances. It manages my marketing. It manages everything.
Hmm.
It even manages my employees for me. And the best part about it is it's all one piece of software. And it's a cost-effective solution to a major problem. And if you don't have control of your customers will have control of you. So one of the things that I do is I build out my CRM system in project management. So that I have a project and I know what that project looks like. And then I just keep building on that project. And one of the reasons why I mentioned to you earlier, um, my clients stay with me for a huge amount of time. Okay. I've got clients that have been with me since 92.
Wow.
And I can tell you it's because I organize my clients into projects and then I work on those projects and build out those projects and move on to the next project with the same client and keep building out new projects. Okay. Um, if you're not currently using a CRM system, I would highly recommend it. Matter
Hmm.
of fact, you know what? It's because of you, Peter. I think I'm going to go out and do a video on how to set up a CRM system.
Very important.
I'll work on that this weekend. But
Very
yes, I
important.
would highly recommend if you're not on a CRM system, um, you know, reach out to me. I will give you an affiliate link, and you can just go and I will help you set it up.
Definitely. All right. So it has been nice chatting with you so far. So do you have anything you would like to share with our listeners concerning the things we've talked about, or maybe anything we've not talked about yet?
Um, Man, I'll tell you, we've talked about a lot today, haven't we?
We have,
Um,
definitely.
let's see. What I would like to tell people is this: don't rely on machine learning. Don't rely on ChatGPT. I mean, it's fine. These are all nice little toys to play with. But if you're taking your business serious, then seriously consider allowing people to see the best part of you. Be authentic, be honest, be trustworthy, and allow people to see inside of you. Because that's, like I said before, that's why we go to the movies. That's why we read a good book.
Yeah.
We want to feel. Okay. And if you happen to be one of those rare people that don't want to feel, then you know what? You're certainly not my customer, and I'm certainly not a person that I probably don't want to hang out with. Okay.
Yeah.
My advice would be your best self. Be your best self. Be the guy that you know you should be. And love your neighbor. You know, there's a saying in the Bible, you know, that you should love thy neighbor. And you know, it's very easy to love a person who loves you back. That's easy. Okay, try loving somebody who hates you, who doesn't like you, or you don't like them. You see, that's the trick. Not every customer you're going to think are great. Some customers are going to be not so great, but you got to love them anyway. You know, and when you have love in your heart, the outside of your life will become the same as the inside of your life. And all the goodness that the world has to give will be there for you. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to do, but what I am saying to you is this. At 64 years of age, I have the perfect life. I love my life. I love my wife. I love where I live. I love my dog. I love my kids. I love my business. I have a perfect life. And not many people can say that. But that is the challenge, is to get to that part. So be the best person you can be. Do for others because you can. Not because it's going to put money in your pocket, or not because you're going to get something out of it. Do it for just the love of doing it. And you know what? You're going to find your life will change. So that's my advice.
Really nice. Really nice. And I hope the listeners take something from that too. So for the listeners, if they want to reach you, if they want to work with you, like you said, if they want to call you, they want to talk with you, get advice or anything else, how can they reach you?
I can be reached. You can go to my website, www.fearlessmarketer.com. You can send me an email. And just so that you know, I do answer all my emails myself. You can reach me at randy@fearlessmarketer.com. Or you can go to my social channels. My YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, you know, I'm everywhere. And don't be send me a text message. My phone number is around. You can get it right off my Facebook page. So phone me. And if you want to have a talk, we can do that. If you want to get on a Zoom call, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. I would love to hear from your audience.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thank you very much for coming on the show today. Thank you very much for sharing so much with us. Thank you very much for this
It's my
very
pleasure.
engaging discussion today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. And great. I look forward I'm looking forward to a return appearance.
Definitely. Definitely. So for all the listeners, thank you for being with us this long. And I hope you picked one or two, or at least 10 things from this episode today. And till next week, when we have another episode, don't forget to keep taking your business. Bye for now.